Hello there. BoBo, the Bitcoiner is back. I'm now in Yunnan, somewhere up in the mountain, very cold. 8 to 10 degrees centigrade. And I'm going to explain something about Bitcoin. You probably heard this line before. Bitcoin used by criminals. It's one of the most common things people say when they first heard about Bitcoin. And honestly, I don't blame them. The media repeats it, government amplifies it. Even friends and family begins to believe it. But actually, is that true? Or it is just another misunderstanding that refuses to die? Today, let's talk about where the idea comes from and what the real data actually shows. When Bitcoin first appeared, it was new, confusing, and very different from the way people are used to. And whenever something new appears, something that challenges the financial system, that naturally become suspicious. Then came the early days of the internet marketplace called Silk Road. It was a website where people bought illegal items. And yes, Bitcoin was used there. The story that became big news. And once the media finds a simple story, they repeat it for years. So the meme stuck. Bitcoin is equal to criminals. But here's the funny thing. Cash has been used by criminals for thousands of years. Nobody said cash is criminal. Nobody said the US dollar is used by criminal, but somehow Bitcoin gets the blame. Okay? Now, let's look at the real numbers. Every year, blockchain analysis companies like Chain Analysis, Elliptics, and CipherTrace publish reports on criminal activities on crypto. And the numbers are surprisingly small. In most years, less than 1% of all Bitcoin transactions are linked to the criminals. Some years it's even lower than 0.2%. To put that in perspective, Bitcoin is used by criminals criminals use cash is estimated to be 10 to 20% of the global cash transaction. Criminals use Bitcoin less than 1%. So, if we are being honest, Bitcoin is actually one of the worst tools for criminals. Why? Because Bitcoin is transparent. A lot of people think Bitcoin is anonymous. It's not. Bitcoin is pseudonymous, meaning your name isn't shown. But every transaction is recorded publicly on the blockchain. That means every payment is permanent, every movement is traceable, and every wallet is visible. Every transaction is open for everyone to inspect. This is the opposite of what criminal wants. Criminals prefer cash, gold, offshore banks. account, fake companies, corrupt intermediaries. Bitcoin leaves a trail, a permanent trail, and that's why law enforcement agencies love Bitcoin. Over the years, many high profile arrests happened because criminals used Bitcoins. The FBI, Europol, and many national police forces now have blockchain analysis team. They can follow the money on chain link, wallets together, and eventually identify the people behind them. Some criminals like Silk Road, the founder was caught because Bitcoin transactions were traced. Money laundering operations were exposed because Bitcoin can be traced. Criminals are slowly learning that Bitcoin is terrible for real crime. In fact, many criminals now avoid Bitcoin altogether. If the data shows Bitcoin is not used much by criminals, if criminals are getting caught because of Bitcoin, why do people still believe in this myth? There are a few reasons. It's an easy story to repeat. Bitcoin is for criminals. It's simple. It's emotional. It spreads easily. Government use it as a narrative tools. When government feel losing control over money, they need a reason to warn people. Saying Bitcoin is used by criminals is an easy way to scare the public. People fear what they don't understand. And why do they want to scare the public? Because they are scared of Bitcoin. If someone doesn't understand Bitcoin, the criminal's narrative becomes a convenience explanation. The media love dramatic headlines. Criminal use Bitcoin. That's what the media always say. And criminal love Bitcoin gets a lot of click. Then Bitcoin is mostly used by normal people. So the memes survive, even though the data say otherwise. So let's look at what people really use Bitcoin for in 2026. Protective saving from inflation, sending money across a border. But remember, it's still traceable. Storing value safely, avoiding capital control, remittance, long-term investment, digital property ownership, financial independence. These are normal everyday uses. Billions of people use Bitcoin for this reason, especially in so-called countries where the local currency is weak. Criminals, they is a tiny fraction, of course. So Bitcoin is used by criminals, yes, but far less than cash, even far less than US dollars. All right, far less than most people think. The truth is simple. Bitcoin is not a criminal tool, it's a transaction tool. And transparency is the last thing that criminals want. So in the next episode, we'll look at another field. Does Bitcoin waste energy? And transparency is the last thing criminals want. Okay? So the next episode we will look into, does Bitcoin waste energy? And we will break down why the topics which is so misunderstood. Well, weather is cold, better end now. See you next time. Don't forget to follow the series by just clicking at subscribe. And you can see all my other series before this and the next one coming. Okay? Thank you for watching. Bye bye. See you next time.